Hi, this is Nupoor from Gyaan Vatika, and today's topic of discussion is Malloc function. Malloc function basically stands for memory allocation. It is a function that allocates memory dynamically. So first let us see what is the means of dynamic memory allocation. For that we will see the types of memory allocation. There are basically two types of memory allocation. One is static and one is dynamic. So what is static memory allocation? The memory which is allocated during the compile time is known as static memory allocation. For example, suppose we are writing a C program, and after the header files we have started the program with void main, and we have declared a variable a and then initialized it to the value 10, right? So suppose this is our program. Now when there are two steps to run this program. First step is we will compile this program, and the second step is we will run this program. So what happens at the compile time? At the compile time, if we have declared a variable statically, then the memory is allocated during the compile time. When we will compile this program, the memory of this integer is allocated, and suppose the size of integer is 4 bytes, then 4 bytes get reserved in the memory for this integer variable which is named as a, right? And during the compile time the syntactical errors are also checked at the compile time. So if memory is allocated statically, this integer will get its memory during the compile time, right? And suppose if we are allocating memory dynamically, then the memory is not allocated at compile time, it will be allocated at the run time, right? So in dynamic memory allocation, the memory is allocated during the run time, and in the statical memory allocation, the memory is allocated during the compile time. Now what is the use of dynamic memory allocation? Why the memory is not always allocated statically? Let us see this. Now suppose if the memory is allocated at compile time is not sufficient, then we cannot increase the size of the memory, but let's see here. Now suppose the memory we have allocated for, there are 5 records, and we have allocated memory for that 5 records. But suppose we are required now 10 records, then the memory can't be increased if we allocated memory statically. But if on the other hand, if we allocate memory dynamically, we can increase the size of the memory wherever or whenever we want during the runtime. So this is the use of dynamic memory allocation. Now let us come back to our topic. Our topic was Malloc function. So Malloc function is basically used for allocating memory dynamically. Dynamically means during the runtime, right? Now let us see the syntax of the Malloc function. The syntax of the Malloc function is ptr name equals to ptr type malloc size of block in bytes. Now suppose we have to allocate a block of memory of size 20 bytes, right? So for that we will write the syntax as follows. Suppose we are naming that variable ptr as aar. Then ptr type is we have to block a size of block in bytes. Now suppose we are allocating memory to a integer, right? So we will write here int star. Now suppose if we were allocating memory to a character, we will write here char. If to float, we will write here float. Then we will write our keyword malloc, then the size in bytes. We can write here 20 directly, right? Now suppose we have to declare a block of 5 records, and 5 records is of 4 bytes each, right? We have to declare a block of 5 integers. So how we will write it? ARR equals to integer star then malloc, and we can directly write here 20 if we know the size, or we can also write it like this, 5 into size of int, means size. We can also use size of operator here, 5 into size of integer variable, right? So here int is written, so the size of int is 4, 5 into 4 means 20 bytes will get reserved, right? So now let us see how this syntax is working, how it will work. Now whenever we allocate a memory using malloc basically here is allocating memory block of 20 size, and it returns a pointer to the beginning of the block, right? If we will use malloc function to allocate memory, it will use the pointers, and it will the memory is allocated. After that it will return a pointer which will be pointing to the beginning address of that block. So if we are allocating 20 bytes, there is a pointer which will point to the first byte of that size, right? So here ptr name is this pointer which is pointing to the first byte here, right? And after successful allocation in malloc, a pointer to the block of memory is returned, otherwise null value is returned, which indicates the failure of allocation, right? This is the example given for allocating array of 5 integers. Let us see here, it's a C program, header files here, int main, we have declared a pointer int star AAR, we are allocating a memory to 5 integers here, ARR is equals to int star malloc 5 into size of int, right? So this is how the memory is allocated, right? For any queries you can write us below in the comment section. Thank you so much.